Welcome to the Rockwall Trail, a 54-kilometer bucket list level hike in Kootenay National Park, and this is my story. Come along with me as I explore some of the good, the bad, the unexpected, the blisters, but more importantly, the beauty. Okay, welcome back to the channel. I am in Kootenay National Park and I'm about to hike the Rockwall Trail. I am in the parking lot of Paint Pots, which is the trailhead. I'm going for 4 nights, 5 days, and my objective today is to get to Helmet Falls, which is 15 kilometers. But this whole trip I think is like 55 or 60k. Not 100% sure, but it's going to be awesome. So I will say that. But anyways, it is quite cold this morning. I managed to get a shuttle up here with a guy named Peter, very nice guy, and that was awesome. But when I got here, you could see a bunch of these vehicles had frost on the windows, so it's going to be quite chilly tonight. Today is the 17th of September, so it's getting late in the season, and we are quite high up. But with that being said, I'm going to go hike the Rockwall Trail, starting with Paint Pots. I'm going to put this camera away. My bag is packed. It weighs damn near 55 pounds, so that's going to be not ideal. I am also a heavy guy, so the load I'm carrying up these hills is going to be massive. Anyways, with that being said, I'm going to put this camera in that dry bag and switch to trekking pole cam, and we are going to hit the trail, Kootenay National Park, Rockwall Trail. Let's go. As previously mentioned, the Rockwall Trail is a 54-kilometer backpacking trip, and my plan is to split it up over 5 days, and I'm going in the north and south direction. Not necessarily because it's better, but because this is the only way I could get a reservation. Also noted, I was only able to secure my spot at Floe Lake 3 days before this trip started. Floe Lake being the crown jewel of the Rockwall Trail and the hardest site to get a reservation at. I booked that in the immediate aftermath of crashing my drone into a tree and never getting it back. The Lord taketh away, but the Lord giveth back too. And in that same vein, I was able to pay back my trailhead shuttle ride from Peter by picking up a fellow stranger on my way back past the trail on my way to Banff. Highly recommended practice and a great way to keep the Rockwall Trail's karma flowing. Enough of that now, because I have realized that I am totally lost. Well, upon further review, I am not on the trail. So all that going through this orange mud that looks like baby poo on my shoes was all for naught. I'm gonna have to backtrack and figure out where I went wrong. I got my GPS, so I should be able to figure it out. But mistakes, they happen. Okay, let's go. As I backtrack back up to the trail, I guess I'll use that as a bit of a learning lesson. It goes to show you just how quickly things can go awry. And judging by the footsteps I followed, I wasn't the only one making that detour. Well, I am officially back on track. I am in this big ochre bed, and actually I can see a little marker sign over there, which I think has to be the trail according to the GPS. So yeah, that was a big detour for no reason. All that blowdown, I walked over for no reason, got a big sweat on, got tired for no reason. Anyways, here's a paint pot. There's some more paint pots. We are back on track and ready to keep this thing moving. Those paint pots are a natural spring that contain iron oxide. This iron oxide is used as a pigment, and that pigment was used by the indigenous people of the area, namely the Kootenay, as paint. They would collect the iron oxide, mix it with mud, fish oil, other animal fats, and then use it as body paint or to dye clothing or even on teepees. And I can personally vouch for the fact that it will definitely dye your hiking pants orangey brown if you are not careful. Those paint pots were also mined in the early 1900s for the same iron oxide, leading the lower section of the area to be heavily impacted. That lower section is probably where I hiked to on my detour, so I guess it was worth it. Kind of. Anyways, all mining was halted here with the formation of Kootenay National Park on April 21st, 1920, allowing this park to be left as is, as the picturesque beauty it is today. Well, I just got to this nice creek here with this bridge, and I think it's a pretty good spot to stop. I think it's about halfway. My Strava says I've gone 7.6 kilometers, and with my added screw up, I think I'm aiming for about 16.2 is my estimate of how far I'm actually gonna go. So with that being said, this is pretty close to halfway, a little shy, but it is a nice natural break spot. So what I'm gonna do is, well, first I'm gonna take my pack off. I'm gonna refill my water bladder with my filter, have a snack, take a moment to like dry off a little. I'm pretty freaking sweaty. And then we're gonna continue. But with that being said, yeah, I'm just gonna do what I said.
After that break, I get back underway on our way to Helmet Falls. From here on out, we're going to gain most of our elevation for the day. According to my Strava, we gain a total of 559 meters of elevation, most of that being in the second half. And including my detour, the total distance of travel today was 16.46 kilometers. Mostly forested, never that steep. Day one was just very ordinary. That doesn't make it bad, but it's more of a day that just gets you to where you want to go. Obviously, there was some nice views, but more in a preview of what's to come kind of way. Nature's way of easing you in gently. Relatively speaking, at least. Because I'm still straight cooked.
Okay, so everything is set up. We got my tent there, shirt on there, sweaty shirt, drying. It is not gonna dry. It is excessively sweaty. Anyways, I've just been making trail friends, but I've worked up an appetite doing that. So I'm gonna take this food, go make dinner at the bear cache or at the tables, by the bear cache, put my food in the bear cache, and yeah, that's pretty much the plan. Okay, I got a bit sidetracked before dinner, and I decided I was gonna go and check out Helmet Falls. I don't know if I'm gonna go all the way. Well, almost certainly we're not gonna go all the way. I actually heard there's bears in this area. But with that being said, I'm gonna get a good view of it, take some photos, and then we'll head back for dinner. But with that being said, here is Helmet Falls. Okay, now it's dinner time.
All right. With that in the background there.
I'm just eating, nothing fancy.
You have to get the waterfall.
Yeah, I'm gonna zoom in. Oh, I don't know how to zoom in on these things.
You
But
can't
yeah.
zoom a GoPro.
Oh, you can't? Oh.
Yeah, let's see the waterfall.
This is all I need.
From there, it was time to go back to camp to stretch and unwind for the night. So good night, and I'll see you in the morning.
Well, good morning. It is officially day 2 here on the Rockwall Trail. I'm about halfway packed up, probably the hard half. Anyways, what am I doing? I got a Cliff Bar here. I've already had a fruit bar. That is breakfast. So I'm just gonna finish packing up here, wait to have a bowel movement, and I'll probably be out of here probably within the next half hour, 45 minutes. I do not do anything that quickly, so half hour is the goal. 45 minutes is probably more like reality. But with that being said, yeah, I'm just gonna keep doing it, pack up that tent. It was quite chilly last night, but nothing I couldn't handle. Anyways, let's go. Well, if you look at all these plants here, you can see the frost on them from last night. So that's how cold it was. But nothing that crazy. But with that being said, I got a pretty wicked view of Helmet Falls itself. And I believe we're going up here somewhere, up a whole bunch of switchbacks, and we should have a pretty good view of Helmet Falls. We'll be looking the opposite way, but I will almost certainly be taking a lot of breaks. A lot of breaks. So we should get some pretty good views of it as we go.
As we head out in the direction of Helmet Falls, day 2 is about to get real pretty quickly. First, some appreciation for Helmet Falls, which at 352 meters tall is the 11th tallest waterfall in the Canadian Rockies, which is a pretty weird stat, but it's impressive that there's 10 more taller here.
I think that poop looks relatively fresh, so definitely bears in the area. Oh man.
Anyways, I'm heading to Tumbling Creek campsite today, and that all starts with a 400-meter climb straight out of camp.
So we got the first good view of the day. We got Helmet Falls right there, and you can see we're up in the mountains. Mountains, and I think we're headed up over there between this mountain and this forest. I think is where we're headed. It is very slow going. I've gone about 1.5 kilometers, and I'm probably going like 2 kilometers an hour. Maybe a little faster than that, but I am pacing myself. And all things considered, it's a pretty steep little climb out of camp here. But with that being said, it's not too crazy. It's relatively gradual, although it is relatively steep. And I'm just pacing myself maybe a little better than yesterday. So yeah, we'll see how it goes, but I'm gonna enjoy this view for a few seconds longer, and then we're gonna head up to the pass and see the rock wall itself. Well, I've decided to take a break. I sweated entirely through my shirt, so I'm hoping it'll dry off a bit. But either way, I'm taking a break here. I am tired. I've gone 4 kilometers, which is about 1/3 of the way of today. But I think that was quite a bit of elevation. And my map, my GPS on my phone was tracking me, but the dot never moved. So I kept thinking I had so much further to go, and I'm like, man, I'm going up this hill, and I am working hard. I'm sweating like unbelievably. There's no way I haven't gone that far. And then it turned out it was not tracking me properly. The distance I think is right, but the dot did not move. But anyways, I am at a beautiful little meadowy area with a wicked view. And if you see this trail, it goes down there, and I believe it just goes up and through the pass there. And I believe that is the Rockwall Pass. So it looks pretty stunning. There's a couple lakes down there that also look very nice. But either way, I'm gonna take a break here, have something to eat, and yeah, that's pretty much that. Okay, post-break update. I looked at my toe, and I have some sort of blister type thing developing underneath my middle toe on my right foot. It doesn't really hurt, but it is annoying, and I think it might hurt later. So I threw some polysporin on there. It's not really in a proper spot to put like moleskin on there, so I'm just gonna give her as is. But anyways, as I've been sitting here drinking water, I've realized that I'm probably gonna need more water. So I'm gonna head down to those lakes, and I believe they're right by the trail, and refill up my water, take another break then, and then just push on. Because it should be pretty easy to that lake, and then I think we're going uphill again.
As I start to descend to those lakes, you can see why I described yesterday as pretty ordinary. These are the views you come to the Rockwall Trail for. Beautiful subalpine meadows and the namesake towering limestone rock wall on my right. Extraordinary.
Well, I guess this is my lake. So I did my water filter in there, fill up, take another break here, have another snack because I am actually quite hungry. And then I think we're gonna climb another pass. So I've been studying the map here, and I think I have about 250, 300 meters to climb coming up right after lunch here, which is gonna be a bit of a bummer, but it is what it is. I'm about halfway. That's 6K, just about 6K that we're here. And that is supposedly halfway, and I feel all right. I will say a guy passed me that was as big as me, and he had just hiked for 14 days. So if he can hike for 14 days, I can get through this. Makes me feel better. But with that being said, I'm just gonna eat some beef jerky, some fuzzy peaches, maybe something else, I'm not really sure. Lighten up the load, and then we're just gonna get after it. I set a timer for 20 minutes. That's how long I'm giving myself. And I've already wasted 30 seconds talking to you, so. Okay, here we go. Break is over. We are headed towards camp and the Rockwall Pass. Well, I feel like we're damn near at the top. I'm absolutely beat, but I feel good because I got an absolutely stunning view of the rock wall. I think we're at like 2,250 meters of elevation, so the air's thin. That's why I'm breathing so heavy, not because I'm out of shape. It's quite chilly. There's a bit of a wind. Anyways, I'm gonna take a break here, take this pack off, and have another snack, drink some water. I see the path goes around there. I think most of the elevation gained has been gained. I do not know that as a fact, but that's my positive thinking. So take a break, celebrate, and we'll get back to it in a bit. Whoa. Holy. Oh. Well, it is officially too cold up here to be hanging out. I am soaked through with sweat, so when I'm not moving, it is cold. So we're gonna get moving. Like I said, hopefully it'll be a little easier from here on out. But I've gone 8K, and I think we're going for about 12.5 today. So, you know, we're getting close. Although my average pace today has been 1.8 kilometers an hour. So if I continue at that pace, I'll still be a long way away, but maybe, just maybe, we are going to speed up. But anyways, like I said, this view, absolutely stunning. But that's the nature of this stuff. We just got to keep going.
So other than being too cold to just hang out up here, this place is absolutely perfect. Postcard views in every direction. This area might actually be my favorite part of the whole trip. I just can't get over it.
Well, we're at a bit of a decision point. I've seen a sign right there that says 3K to Tumbling Creek campsite, which that should be about an hour, unless there's too much hills, but I think it's gonna be downhill, if I'm totally honest. I do not know that as a fact, but there's 0.5K up here to Wolverine Pass / the Kootenay Park boundary, and I guess I should go see it, although I do not really want to. I would like to draw my pack here, but also I don't want to leave my food unattended in my pack. That's not good of me. So I think we're gonna huff it with pack and go see Wolverine Pass. Hopefully there's a nice view. There better be a nice view. Oh, there we are. We are at the National Park boundary. I'll be honest, I do not know what this is the boundary of, other than Kootenay National Park and something. I did not do a lot of research before coming out here. Anyways, there's not a huge amount here. There might be a decent view up there, but there's also this little path through those trees. So I'm gonna follow it for just a minute, see if there's any view out there. Otherwise, I'll just turn back, head to camp. I would like to be at camp, so you know, I'm not gonna be upset if I have to turn around. Some sort of booby trap. Well, you know what? I do not think that was worth it. I'm not going to follow that trail any further. We are just going to take the L on Wolverine Pass and head back to camp.
Well, there's another lesson for you. Don't get too greedy. When you're enjoying your time hiking in one of the most beautiful places you've ever been, don't waste your time with side quests. You already have what you're looking for. And what I had today was a 13.5 kilometer hike with 716 meters of elevation gain that I'll remember forever. And let's not forget, this is only day 2, and I still have so much more to see and do. But I finished today with a nice descent into camp with no bear spray Brad, one of the many trail friends I met here. And with that, I'm going to call this day done.
Okay, it is officially go time. Everything is gone on my campsite and on my pack, which is the lightest it's been the whole trip, and only getting lighter. So that being said, let's go.
So I woke up today in a good mood, and I was ready to just get after it. With a total distance of about 8.5 kilometers and the least amount of elevation gain, this is going to be the easiest day of the trip. I'm heading from Tumbling Creek campsite to Numa Creek campsite, and I'm looking to get there plenty early so I can relax ahead of what I anticipate being a tough day 4. That day has me headed over Numa Pass, which is the highest pass on the trip, so any extra recovery time will be much appreciated, especially considering that while this might be the easiest day, it still ain't easy.
Well, big update here. I've hiked about 1.8k and I've been going for about an hour, maybe slightly more, but either way, not a very good pace. That hill, I'll be honest, was absolutely savage, but I think I'm getting pretty close to what I would call the top. I don't think I have a huge amount of elevation, and just by the looks of it, I think it'll be less steep, because that was pretty steep. Like I said, no joke of a hill, but I have an absolutely wicked view. But I will say, I am pretty chilly, so I'm actually going to put another layer on. But it's weird to say that I'm chilly because I'm absolutely sweating through both the shirts I'm wearing, and I still managed to be cold. But maybe that's why I'm cold, because I'm soaked. Anyways, I'm going to put another layer on just because. And then I think once I get out here, I think I'm going to get a lot more exposure. I think I'm going to be out on the, whatever you want to call this stuff. I think I'm going to have a lot more exposure to wind and stuff. So I'm going to layer up now, have a quick snack, and then, yeah, get out there. I think the views are going to be pretty insane. Not that they're already pretty, not insane already. Absolutely beautiful. Had a big old glacier up there, a couple of them, I guess, and yeah, pretty unreal. But also these trees, I believe these are larch trees. Also, no bear spray Brad told me they were also tamarack trees, which I guess is the same thing. I don't really know, but it's interesting to see the colors change. And you know, we're getting late. I think it's the 19th of September today, so we're getting pretty late in the season. So everything's changing. It's getting cold, but you know, weather still looks good today, so I'll take advantage of it. But anyways, with that being said, let's get back to it.
All that talk about it being cold and that the weather's changing almost has me feeling like I'm foreshadowing something that's about to come. It's not happening now, though, because it's still absolutely beautiful up here on the top of Tumbling Pass. With stunning views at Tumbling Peak and the Tumbling Glacier, this place definitely rivals where we were yesterday. There's not a long time to enjoy it, though, because as fast as you gain the elevation, you lose it. Almost as soon as we gain the summit of the pass, it feels as if the bottom almost falls out on you. And we had a long way down to go.
What an absolutely awesome spot. Got mountains on all sides. More importantly, I'm going downhill. And yeah, now that I'm going downhill, I feel like I'm putting in the K pretty quickly. So I feel like it won't be that long before I'm at camp. But obviously we're going way down there. I think we'll be in the forest. And then tomorrow we're probably climbing up one of those mountains. But that's a problem for another day. For now, I think I'm gonna throw some sunglasses on and finish this descent. But just an unreal place, like I said. Mountains on all sides. Unreal. just beautiful. Okay, we are officially at camp here at Numa Creek. I have all my stuff out and I've just been catching my breath, but I have 3 shirts. I sweat through 3 shirts today. So I got them hanging to dry. I got water hanging to dry. I'm gonna make myself a peak refuel breakfast, but here's the creek. This is Numa Creek. It's quite nice. And there's a little spot right there, which I might go soak my feet in a bit. But like I said, I'm gonna make myself a peak refuel breakfast because I kind of brought it as an extra meal. And tomorrow is gonna be a hard day, probably the hardest of the trip. Almost certainly gonna be the hardest of the trip. I believe I have a climb, 800 meters-ish, pretty similar to what I just hiked down, which was savage. So going up is gonna be, honestly, it's gonna be absolutely gnarly. So I do not wanna carry anything extra that I don't need to. And also, I'm gonna fuel heavy today, so I have the energy tomorrow, so I can actually make it. Anyways, so that's pretty much the plan. I'm gonna eat my breakfast for lunch, snack, whatever you want to call it. I'll set up my tent, but yeah, I got stuff hanging, water there. There's an outhouse over there. The food area is actually on the other side of the creek with the bear cache and everything, so at some point I will go over there. But for now, set up tent, have a snack here, and yeah, just enjoy this spot.
After getting camp all set up, Nina from Belgium got us all a fire going, which was fun until a lady yelled at us for absolutely no reason and ruined the vibes. Then it poured rain, so it didn't really matter anyways.
Well, that fire was short-lived. It is now raining pretty good. I got my raincoat on. As you can see the creek there, tent there. This will be my first ever night in the nature hike while it's raining, so hopefully it keeps me dry. But that being said, it's about 7:10 and we're going to bed early, so good night. And hopefully it's not raining in the morning. Well, good morning. It is day 4. It is still raining, but I think it has slowed down considerably. But it doesn't really matter. I've been in this tent for 12 hours and I need to get out. So I have everything packed up. I got my rain pants on, shorts underneath, hiking boots on. Gonna put my hat on, raincoat, and we're gonna go get our food, go to the bathroom, then we're gonna pack the rest of the stuff and we're just gonna hit the road. I would like it to stop raining, but I'm not sure if I will get my wish. But that being said, we're just gonna hit it. Let's go. Looks like some fresh snow dusting up in the mountains. And we're headed high. I think Floe Lake is like 2,000 meters, 2,200 meters is the pass, so I wouldn't be shocked if we get a little snow, or there is a little snow up there, but who knows? My Zoldio was calling for it to get a little cold, so might be cold, might be snow, who knows? But all things considered, not bad. I don't actually know if it is still raining, which is nice. Okay, we are going with a slightly different packing strategy this morning. Tent's going at the bottom and everything else that's important is going to be in my dry bag, which, you know, it might be raining, so I want to keep everything dry. I have a rain cover, but I think the dry bag, better solution. But I do think the weather's going to be good. There's blue sky. And the rain has definitely stopped, at least for now. So yeah, anyways, I'm not going to talk very long. I'm just going to pack up my stuff and get out of here ASAP since it's not raining. ASAP, and yeah, hopefully get to Floe before any rain. I am going to start in rain gear, which might change, but if there's a bunch of brush on the side of the trail, if I don't have my rain gear on, I'm going to get soaked. So this is the strategy to start. I'll see what happens. I might get really hot going uphill in a raincoat, a sauna suit, but we will see how it goes. So pack up this bag and let's get GTFO.
And we're off. With the weather looking good, I was optimistic that this day was going to be every bit as awesome as I envisioned in my mind. The hike from here to Floe Lake is the thing I was looking forward to the most, as Floe Lake is the most picturesque place on the trail. The hike to get there is about 10.5 kilometers long, but climbs over 800 meters as you crest over Numa Pass, the highest point on the trail. So whether the weather stays good or not, today's going to be a tough one.
Well, I figured I'd stop for a little update here. We're in this super beautiful looking valley, nice waterfall there. And I've gone just about 3K. I checked, it's 3.99K. And I feel like I've been making pretty good progress. I've been gone for about an hour. But it's been a slow and gentle climb coming up out of camp, very gentle. And I think it's about to get a lot more difficult. I think we're gonna have about 550 meters. That's gonna be pretty steep and pretty gnarly. I'm not exactly sure where we're going, but I think we're going up and over, somewhere over there, into Floe Lake. But I think it's gonna be pretty savage. So that being said, nothing to do but to keep going. So I hope it's not that bad. Well, it is officially snowing, which is not ideal. Anyways, I'm about halfway. I'm about halfway up this climb, I think. It has not been as bad as I feared. I do not know if it's going to get worse, but I'm almost certain that it's going to get more exposure. So hopefully it's not too snowy, potentially windy up there, but there's no wind down here. So anyways, again, nothing to do but then to keep going. So I'm just gonna keep going, but that's the update. Snow, halfway there. Let's go. Pretty epic view. I think we're getting pretty dang close to the top. I think we got less than 100 meters of elevation to go. I feel pretty good, but definitely winded. Knees a little sore.
So with my GoPro on the fritz and conditions considerably less than to be desired, all I got on the summit of Numa Pass was this cell phone video and a lesson to always expect the unexpected. Remember, this is still the last day of summer, and this is definitely not how I pictured spending it.
Okay, it is cold out here, so we are making our way down. I'm gonna follow this path, slow and steady. It'll be a little slick, but I got my poles, and I'll be as careful as humanly possible.
From here is a straight shot descent into Floe Lake, and boy was I happy to be heading down. While the conditions weren't super terrible, there's something about being on the top of a mountain alone in a snowstorm that's just a little unnerving. And I'm sure glad that I had some people's footsteps to follow in, because that made me feel a lot better. Quite a few people at the Numa Creek campsite bailed out early over the reports of snow on the pass, but I'm glad I pushed on. This trip wouldn't have been the same without it, and pushing my own boundaries is a big reason that I'm out here. But I am glad to be at Floe Lake.
Oh wow, there we go. We got our first view of Floe Lake. Absolutely beautiful. I'm absolutely beat. I am glad to be here. I do not know what the weather is going to do, but hopefully it's not that bad. But I'm gonna go down, take my pack off, analyze the situation, have a snack, all those things. Just beautiful though. That's awesome. Well, here's my current situation. I'm at a ranger's cabin. I have everything hanging to dry. I got my raincoat, shirt, tent, mattress, sleeping bag, water. And I'm gonna make some food. I got my peak refuel, pasta marinara, which may or may not be what I'm having for dinner, but I'm eating it right now because I am cold and hungry. I got my warm stuff on, and the weather does not look the best. So the plan is to camp here after everything's dry, but I'm kind of set a timer for about an hour, hour and a half, and then I might rethink things. Well, this is my cabin. Well, you know what? I am going home. I got a beautiful view of Floe Lake here. It is only getting colder. I do not know if it's gonna snow, rain, it doesn't really matter. I came, I saw, I experienced Floe Lake and the Rockwall Trail. So that being said, we're gonna hit the trails.
And hit the trails we did. After all that build-up of Floe Lake, once I got here, I was ready to go home. Nothing against Floe Lake, it's fabulous. But I decided I couldn't stomach a cold and snowy night camping, knowing I was an 11.5 kilometer straight shot downhill to my van and a warm soak in the Radium Hot Springs pool. That all sounds like a great idea, but pretty quickly I realized that I had made a terrible decision. First of all, the hot springs would close before I could get there, and second, I was already straight cooked. It took me 3 hours to get down from Floe. In hour 2, I was exhausted. And in hour 3, I was teetering on both a mental and physical breakdown. But with one foot in front of the other, eventually I made it back to the van. My home away from home, and my ride to the next adventure. I hope to see you there.
Well, I am absolutely wrecked. I can barely walk. But I'm gonna go to the Radium Hot Springs pool. Absolutely wrecked. But anyways, rest, recover, and on to the next one. Peace.